Hi, Richard.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's hard to, when you try to listen to someone explain things and you're just missing little bits.
Yeah, it's crucial.
You just can't make out what's happening.
No, I understand.
So, you said that, obviously, I've had someone mention this to me before about if I didn't need all the money,
Yeah.
this way it's used on some things and that. So I've had a little insight into it from someone.
Sure.
But they didn't actually say about paying an extra 100 grand.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, anything about 100 grand, like the question I've got is like, if I reinvest and there is a relief because I'm reinvesting again,
Yeah.
Otherwise there's capital gains on 100 grand.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, my accountant is normally very good at getting around these things. We've used this exact model that I've mentioned to use several times with my other clients. So I think it'll be worth my accountant talking to your accountant rather than us trying to, me trying to explain it to you and you trying to explain it to your accountant.
Yeah.
I mean, you will be getting 200 grand more overall. However, on day one, you're getting 100 grand less, but you're getting the balance over the next 100 months.
No, I can see what you've said, and obviously, on me, that's a good return on 100 grand.
Yeah.
8 years, it's a good return.
Yeah. And
the thing I get around is how it benefits you because you're paying quite a decent interest on that, aren't you?
Yeah, we're technically, we're paying 100 grand on 100 grand, but we're actually paying it out of the rent income from the property.
Right.
So technically, it's not actually costing us anything.
Right.
So that's what's in it for us.
Yeah, I think that's just reminded me. I think that's what someone who came to look at it was on about. Obviously, I know the security on the money is. I think the other person told me it's done like if it was a mortgage.
Yeah, I mean, what?
It's still a property or whatever. Is that right?
Yeah, what would normally do is because he's getting a mortgage on the property. And they don't normally allow second charges, is there would be a deed of trust put in place for the... but you would also be getting the shares in the company that own it.
Right.
So literally the company that buys it, on the day that we buy it for 600, you would pay back 200 into that company, and technically you're buying 200 grand's worth of shares.
Okay.
That would then be bought back off you at one share or 2 grand a month.
Right. And obviously, if it's shares, I mean, what's the security for me, on the company and everything that?
That's something again I think is really for the solicitors to sort out between them.
Right.
So that your solicitors and Stuart's solicitors can come up with something that works for both of you. So we've got a model that's been used a few times, so my solicitor's used to that model.
Okay. So the other main thing really is just thinking about is, and this is buying it as a going concern, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Rent, yeah. Okay.
So you'd be getting rent up until the day of sale, basically.
Yeah.
And then Stuart will embark on a period of refurbishment out of his pocket, and then potentially refinance it again at the end. And I think he's technically looking at splitting it into 2.
Yeah.
But the other thing that would probably work for him as well, but we've not looked at the maths, is if we bought it at 100 grand and you gave back... they bought it at 600 grand and you gave 100 grand back on the day of purchase. But I'd have to speak to my experts to find out how we can legally do that from a mortgage point of view.
Well, just giving 100 grand back?
Yeah, just give 100 grand back, but that means you get the full 500 on day one.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, when I've spoken to some other people, I'm not selling it because I need the money.
No.
Selling it because, like you say, I've got to a time where it's mainly to do with inheritance tax.
Sure.
A bit.
Yeah, so it's like 1 year or whatever, so the 7-year thing, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, and obviously that property, out of the properties I've got, is the more complicated one to sell if anything ever happened to me and my wife. So I'm trying to get, because I've got 2 more down the road, but they're a bit more simpler because they're not in such a big, it's HMOs, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm interested in what you're saying, but what the dilemma I've got at the minute is obviously I've given someone else, I agreed.
Yeah.
I've got to really, if I'm coming on board with you, I've got, I feel like I've got to let them know what's happening.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, if we're happy to agree something, I know Stuart would move to exchange very quickly, and the mortgage can happen all very quickly.
Can it? Yeah. So I mean, what sort of when would your accountant or whatever sort of be able to talk to my account?
I think the best thing to do is if you email Stuart with your accountant's details, and I'll email Stuart with my accountant's details, and then Stuart can put them together.
Yeah, because at the minute, like with the other people who are interested, the main thing they've done is they've sent the ID over to the estate agent.
Yeah.
And they were going to have the mortgage company around yesterday.
Right.
Which I think would have caused them fees to be paid then, but I did cancel that.
Yeah, sure.
But obviously I know they'll be getting in touch soon, wondering what's happening
while
I'm not getting on.
I know we can put this to bed as soon as the accountants can come up with something to make you comfortable.
Yeah.
But I'll also speak to Stuart about the potential of just paying 600 and getting 100 grand back on day one, and also speak to the legal side to make sure we can do that for mortgage purposes.
Yeah, no, when I was on about the 100 grand, I was on, why didn't you give me 500 and I give you 100 grand investment back, if that works?
Because buying it at 600, he can get a higher loan he can borrow.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what I didn't know if the 600 was for when you've done it, it shows like that you've bought it at a higher price.
No, the main thing is that we can borrow 450 if the purchase price is 600.
Right.
And technically, if you're giving 200 back, that gives us 50 grand more than what we've laid out for on day one to cover the stamp and things.
Right.
And it gives him a slush fund to then start the refurbs.
So you're going to end up paying more stamp duty,
yes, slightly more, but in the run of things, it works for us.
Does it? Right. Yeah, okay, and obviously I still have to do it through the estate agent.
Yes, of course. So you got their fees to pay. So
commission plus of that.
Yeah, and I'm sure you can negotiate with them that it's based on the 500 price, the 495 price, and not the 600 price.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well. Yeah, I'm interested. So what I'll do, like you say, if we get the email and can get the accountant talking.
Sure.
Try and get some information so as I can see that it's all doable.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
And then I know where I am.
All right. Get your accountant's details over to Stuart then, and I'll get mine over, and we can put them in touch so they can talk in the next day or two.
Okay.
All right.
And then I think let me just have a quick look at my notes. I just wanted to share with you. No, I think that was all really. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Hey, all right.
Okay, nice to talk to you.
And then try and see what we can do.
Cheers, Richard.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.